Hey guys, Mono here. This is Assault Sector, a new game that was announced yesterday. Link to the Steam store page will be down in the video description. This isn't the early access launch yet, this is just the announcement. Early access will be coming later, so this is very early in the game's development. We got to play around with the devs and some other YouTubers like Pterodactyl and Tacti Gamer. Shout out to Tacti for inviting me to the event. So, being this early in development, I'm going to talk a bit more about the ideas than the actual gameplay feel of what I was experiencing. But that said, you're probably looking at the screen and wondering what the hell is going on. What is this Wallhack thing that you have? That is the pulse, and it is one of the core mechanics of this game, which sounds absolutely crazy because, yes, they are adding wall hacking into the game as one of the features, but here's how it goes. Every player spawns with one charge of this, and that gets recharged after each kill. The idea behind this is to eliminate camping entirely and to speed up the game. There will be different game modes in the future which will have different implementations of this mechanic. For example, one game mode will only have one charge per soldier for the entire duration of the rounds. Other modes might feature other ways to recharge the pulse. And there's also going to be counters, like for example the smoke that's going to conceal you from the wall hack. And, you know, when I first saw this, I was highly skeptical, but after playing it, I'm kind of on board with this. Knowing enemy position is half the battle, especially when multiple enemies are also doing the same, right? And it creates this very interesting tension where you don't want to stick around in the same spot for too long because, you know, people will come find you. But also, when are you going to use your pulse? Are you going to use it to find out where the enemies are and then close the distance? Or are you just going to roam around looking for enemies and then use the pulse to give you an advantage during the combat? So it's a very interesting take, and it actually works to make this kind of unique feeling gameplay. Alright, and now that that's out of the way and you're not distracted by thinking about what that mechanic is, this obviously looks like a Call of Duty style game from the weapons to the gunplay. However, the inspirations behind it are more games like Quake, Unreal Tournament, and Halo. So this map you're seeing right now doesn't necessarily represent a vision of what most of the maps in the game will be like. Other maps might feature stuff like booster pads. Rocket jumping is going to be a thing. There is already a grenade launcher that you can use to rocket jump, but it's not really useful at all in the map that we played. So this map is more to test the close quarters combat, nail down the movement and the overall feel of the game. This is the type of game that calls kills frags. When we were talking about Unreal Tournament being one of the inspirations, I actually asked about weapons like the Redeemer, which, in case you don't know, it was a video guided nuke that spawned on the map and people would fight over control of it because it was such a fun weapon to use. Well, when I asked about this, they kind of laughed nervously and said like, we probably shouldn't talk about that because, you know, we don't want to give everything away just yet. So I'm really excited about what's coming in the future. The core design though is for this to be a high skill ceiling, low TTK game with fun weapons and fun creative modes. Also, repeat after me, there's going to be no skill based matchmaking, which I never enjoy. There will be a competitive mode with skill based matchmaking, but the more common experience will be this old school, sometimes you get noobs, sometimes you get dunked on by people that play way better than you. And I'm all for that. I think skill-based matchmaking by definition makes every round feel kind of the same with players of the similar skill as you. And it's not a gameplay that I particularly enjoy. I rather have a more widespread ability in the server. So you have maybe one or two guys that play really well. And, you know, a couple of guys that maybe it's their first time and whatever. I think that just creates better and more fun situations in a game. So as we played, the devs talked about some of the crazy ideas they have, like for example having an announcer with the multi-kill and, you know, triple kill and so on, which I think is really good. My favorite idea though is a teabagging mode, which works like Call of Duty kill confirmed, except you have to teabag your kills to be able to confirm them or something like that, and I find that incredibly hilarious. Some people might argue like, oh, that's toxic, why would you promote that behavior? And the answer is simple. Games take themselves too seriously. We take everything too seriously. We play these hyper-violent video games that celebrate the act of murdering someone, but then crouching on somebody's bodies that's crossing a line. You know, there's nothing wrong with blowing multiple people up into little bits of meat in this genocide simulator, but shit talking to someone, that's intolerable. So old school fun is the idea behind this game, and I think that is a very refreshing take and something I'm really looking forward to. There will be 5 different classes to choose from. We don't have the details on what those classes will feel like, but you'll see in the gameplay videos that I have access to all sorts of different weapons like assault rifles, SMGs, LMGs, sniper rifles, and so on. So that's gonna be class restricted. Each class will have access to different kinds of weapons. Shotguns are part of the secondary weapon pick. So instead of a pistol, you can get a shotgun or a grenade launcher, which I think is really cool. Which also means that the pistols themselves are pretty powerful. They each hit really, really hard. And some of you might have noticed there are some vehicles shown in the main menu. I asked about this, and the devs confirmed that they do want to add a vehicle mode in the future, kind of like Battlefield, but they don't want them to necessarily dominate and be the predominant force. So vehicles will be more like crowd control kind of things, right? Alright, let's talk about the gunplay, because I definitely think it needs some work. There wasn't much weight to the weapons, not much visual recoil, the sounds were kind of bland and not very impactful. Gun balance was whatever, because all of the guns are kind of placeholders. Much of the guns had the exact same feeling. So again, this is a very early build of the game. I think they have the right ideas of what they want to do with the gunplay, but right now what I played was very much placeholder. I was told it was placeholder, so I can't really evaluate the gunplay. What's that gonna feel like in the final game? So I guess, you know, maybe in a few months from now, revisit the game, check out the progress that's been made on the guns specifically, and we'll go from there. However, even though this was a very early build of the game and an old build, because the build we played is not the current build, performance was off the charts. This isn't running on Unreal Engine 4 or 5 or anything like that. This was coded in C, and the performance was absolutely amazing. I was getting between 200 to 300 frames per second with everything maxed out, and the tick rate they are aiming for on the servers is 100 Hz. So you know they are focusing on this quick reaction style, fast gameplay. And that's it, guys. I think this is a very, very cool game. It's very early on, so we'll have to see what progress gets made in the future and how development goes along. It will be coming to early access soon at some point in the future, so keep your eyes open for it. Make sure you add it to your wishlist on Steam if you want to show your interest in the game. That's going to help the developers in the long run, so definitely do that. And that's it, guys. Let me know what you think about this game down in the comment section. As always, if you like the video, then please give it a like. Most of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, so hit that subscribe button as well. It really does help a lot. Maybe we can get to 50,000 subs soon rather than later. And as always, thank you for watching, and I hope I will catch you in the next one.